YouTube.
Hello and welcome to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. Today I'm here with Sam and Zach. Say hello, boys.
What's up
Hello.
with it?
So at this point, we have everything, right? We were full sets revealed, and I think it's a good time to start deciding and stacking everyone up against each other. So, what do you say, tier list day?
It's a great idea. I think it's time we make a tier list. We've been waiting for all the leaders. We finally got the last three. Let's talk about them.
Yeah. And I like presenting it like we didn't plan on it beforehand.
Yee, boom. Yeah, this is totally off the unplanned. It's just random.
Yep.
This is Tier
Did
Maker.
not see
This is a
this coming.
pretty popular website. Where I have the images down here. Try to put them in order they were released.
Yep,
We'll quickly go through them and talk about our favorites. Sounds good.
absolutely. So the first is starter deck Luffy.
Where do we think, guys? Where are we putting Stardic Luffy?
So I think this is a good leader that most people are going to play, but I believe most leaders are going to be better. So I do think that does land straight in the middle.
Right in the middle.
I think it's pretty mid overall.
Yep.
I will say though, it probably by a nice mile is the best starter deck leader. I don't think there's a starter deck leader that is better than this guy, and with his synergy with the red cards, I think he's pretty solid.
I
Yeah,
also think
absolutely.
he's very forgiving.
That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you can. I think he
He was
definitely gives
very,
you the ability to overextend and give you options. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with that.
Absolutely.
Next one is the Kaido leader. The Kaido leader is weird because the other purple leaders are not the other purple leader. I'm sorry, the crocodile and the Kaido that we're gonna get into later have more options. And I
Yep.
think minusing 7 might be a tad too much of a deficit. However, I will say that he's probably still playable.
I think he's playable. I think that if purple has all of the things it needs, you could probably hit that more than one turn in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, -7, even going from 10 to 3 is going to be hurtful for you.
No, I'd agree. I think he's a solid, probably just a step below the Luffy leader C tier. I think that feels good.
Mhm. And every game we played, starter deck wise, red one. So
Yeah, that red that's that red star deck's kind of
yes,
mean.
kind of spicy.
Kind of spicy. The new crocodile, we just got its effect. It is every time you play every time you play an event card and you have 4 or less cards in hand, you're able to draw a card. We believe this to work on both turns because it doesn't say your turn; it says this turn. So, going with
Good
that
old,
current information, Zach, what do you feel about this leader?
good old Bandai.
Gotta love it.
Good old Bandai. Wording is everything. The leader's actually really good. At first, I thought it was just okay, but the more I think about it, the moment you hit 7, you're actually really scary. Like really, really scary.
Yeah.
And you're blue purple, so you have access to 7 on your turn 3, your turn 2 potentially if you hit everything.
Mm-hmm.
So dropping Croc and then being able to draw cards for free is always good. It's going to be a really good card. I'd put it in like A tier.
No, I would agree. I think we were looking for a way to make all those Barrack word cards work. Because, spoiler alert, we're not a huge fan of the Starter Crocodile. Um, I don't know what that deck will look like because it's a lot of cards I want to play in this. Because you want to play the ramp, you want to play the Barrack word. So it's going to come down to counts to make this a really specific deck. We're going to get on that soon. But
Yeah.
I think the options for this deck are phenomenal because you have options for peak, you have options for Barrack Works, and your end game is that Crocodile, who has got a ton of utility. He's a banish hitter. I really like this leader going forward and future sets as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He got out of order. I don't know how he got there. Awkward. But the next starter deck leader is going to be Crocodile. I'm just gonna say it. This Crocodile is kind of bad. He's probably the worst starter deck leader. There's no ramp, and he costs 4 Dawn to activate his effect. It feels like he's the wrong effect for this color.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having access to your effect or not feeling like your effect is useful makes you not want to play it. Like
There
when we're
was
comparing it to Luffy, where I'm using that effect every turn, why would you do anything other than that? Like, I don't.
Fully agree.
yeah, that's a big point, honestly, and these guys are a lot nicer than me. I wouldn't I just this leader is something I just wouldn't touch myself. Like
I'll make it
you have
work.
no ramp. You have no ramp.
I'll make
You
it
just
work.
the leader's just bad. The only reason I would
Yeah.
consider it to be any type of playable is because you have access to blue cards and good old Bandai, blue's broken.
Blue is broken, but the other blue leaders are pretty good. This
Yeah.
leader
Mine's
we had some discussion on. We were trying. We're all over the place for Eustass Kid.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and start with this impression?
I think this leader is playable. I think green is a good color. It has all the combos, and being able to attack with your leader twice, and your opponent's never going to know what you're going to do. With your main phase being able to do whatever you want whenever you want, you can attack and go all out, leaving your Dawn open to swing with your leader again. They don't know if you're going to attach or play another card. So it leaves that option to hit again. There might be better options for stuff to swing with again, but this leader makes himself go in twice, which is cool.
Yeah.
I think it's usable. I think it's passable.
C's get degrees.
Exactly.
I just wanted to add that it's weird because Green has all these functions. They have the super rookies, they have the heart pirates, they have the scabbards now that are we have
Mhm.
complete. What are you supposed to play with this kid? Right, you fit in a lot of these little categories. Um, he's interesting to me. I think being able to attack twice is a good ability. I think he has just no support. I think a lot of the green stuff went to Oden. It seemed like.
Yeah. I mean, you play all the combo stuff. So your scabbard cards that untap Dawn
Yeah,
to open up Dawn to use his effect to reattack with him,
sure.
you're not going to know what's going to happen in these decks. You're going to have to be very smart about when you counter and stuff because you never know if your leader's going to be able to pop back up and swing again.
There it is. Skill based leaders. That's
Yeah.
probably fits with Kaido as well. These are going to be very player dependent.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. Next leader is the first dual color leader we got, which was the Luffy. Zach, how do you where are you on this Luffy?
It's cute. I put him above the starter deck Kaido and above the kid, but I don't think I'd put him any higher. Having 4 life kind of sucks. Trust me, I've been playing nothing but purple Kaido, and 4 life sucks, bro. It
Already
really does.
behind.
And
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
kind of its effect is it's a better kid, but it's also a worse kid.
Right, I would agree
It's
with
I
that.
very
think
specific. Yeah.
And yeah, I think for life is a huge deficit. The more we test, the more we realize that that one life actually means a lot. So you have to really benefit from playing multiple colors, and the green red synergy I think for this Luffy is not beneficial enough at this moment.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is can it target the unblockable Luffy?
yeah,
Yeah,
So I think that's what you would be lining up with this leader.
yeah, that's true.
That's
Um,
the, I mean, like you're going to be able to untap any of your characters that you play in that deck because you're only going to play characters that synergize with this leader.
right.
Which that means you're, uh, like you narrow your options really quickly.
yeah.
But I don't know if that's aggro enough to get around the top leaders. Like
I
even
feel
the leader we put in B already.
no. I
So
think
I
that
don't know.
yeah, that Luffy has I think a lot of advantage over it's expensive too. I think this ability for 4 is really expensive, so it's tough.
Right.
And then we're getting into the Zoro leader. Among our group, we unanimously agreed this is the best leader in this set.
That's the game.
It's very simple. It's a very simple effect. One Dawn. All your characters gain 1,000 power. You play a lot of little searchers. You play the Namis. You play if you're afraid of blockers, you play the Usopp. There's a lot of little guys that really benefit from the Zoro, and then you play the rush characters like the Sanji that just get bigger. Um, this Zoro is a huge threat, and every time we tested it, it's always a positive experience and usually a win. This Zoro seems to be the best leader right now.
I think so. I think that being able to turn little guys into big guys without having to commit too much is nice. Just getting a plus 1,000 on the searching Nami is an incredible feeling to be able to just swing with something you didn't think you would be attacking with. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and then in the end game, not having to attach two Dawn to something to get to that like stopgap point where you feel comfortable attacking with is super helpful to spread out attacks, which you'll be doing in red. You're going to be attacking with five guys when you're winning.
Yeah. that
Yeah.
leader's
Yeah.
that leader's really good. It applies the most pressure,
Hmm.
and in the set's early release and the infancy of a game, that's usually what's
What's
just
going to be good?
better.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it'll get worse over time. We'll come back to that, but right now this leader is probably the best one in the game.
I would even offer
Yeah.
a counter that this ability is so universal that we probably will be considering this leader going forward because pumping 1,000 is not as specific as hypothetically like the law leader who has a ton of conditions. It's really easy to do this effect, and as long as you play small tutors, the Zoro could be relevant.
Yeah, and it says all characters. So it's not specific to Straw Hats, it's not specific to Supernovas. So in future red sets, this leader could boost random red deck that comes out in set 2 or 3 or 4. So
Yep.
It
super
could
cool.
become a really good toolbox leader. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Like you have a really good deck, but the leader that came out for that set was kind of eh. So just throw in the
Mhm.
Zoro leader. 5
Mhm.
life, pump 1,000, solid. Next
Solid.
next leader we're getting into is the first, or I'm sorry, the second of the blue purple leaders. It is the Kaido. Zach is the aficionado of this Kaido. How do you feel about him?
It's to make it work, that's for sure.
I'm gonna do my best. That card is very Ramp is good, man. It's hard not to
It's
go
good.
into any kind of game and say Ramp is bad,
Right.
especially when you have it early on. And the cards are very strong. It's just the deck struggles with red. But
Yeah.
we haven't really tested with all of the newer stuff. We were short like maybe 15 cards ish. So there's a couple of things that came out I want to test, and it might be a little more defensive if possible, but I can't put it up there with Zoro. I'd have to put it underneath. It's probably right there with the Croc.
Somewhere right there. That maybe something like that.
Yeah, somewhere
I would,
around there.
I would agree they teeter. And not only is this Kaido good now, Ramp is an ability that we're gonna keep looking back on. Like this Kaido probably will only get better. So I only have high hopes for this guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could be one of those S tier leaders eventually that you're going to play it in every set. It's an option. If there's, like you just said, for the same thing with the Zoro, if there's not a good leader for blue purple that set, you can work this into that archetype.
Kind of reminds me of
Yeah,
Mecha Freeze a little bit from Dragon
I
Ball.
was gonna say it's essentially for the newer Dragon Ball players who didn't play when the set came out. It's basically like Soul Striker. Soul Striker's been revamped
Yeah.
and it's always been relevant. And it's the same thing. The more blue cards that come out, the more purple cards that come out, the more that leader is just gonna be good.
Yeah, he's not held back by a -7 or whatever. His effect is pretty universal. He'll just be strong.
Yep.
Just the support right now, we think for this set specifically, I think he does struggle a little bit just against the red matchup from our current
Right.
testing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Next leader is this Law, and I really want to make this guy work. He just feels like you have to do the utmost to make him playable, and then he's down to life. I haven't tested it into red. I'm sure it's a nightmare. It just seems you have to do a lot to make this leader good right now.
You have 5 guys on the board.
That's a lot of guys.
Which we might be able to do with more support from Heart Pirates. It seems like they're going to have the ability to bring themselves out. Uh, but that's still leaving you 2 positions short. Because I think a full combo Beppo into one of the other 2 into the last one, I think that's the combo. But that still leaves you with 2 spaces that you have to fill. And
And it all
I
comes from the
wish it was
hand.
better.
It all comes from
Yeah,
the hand too. You have to have
Ugh.
it. If both of them in their hand, that's the issue. If it
yeah,
said play one and search of your deck and play the other one, they're not
something,
that
yeah.
strong. They're blockers. They're kind of small. There's no way to search them. There's no tools.
And there's
Um,
not a lot of draw.
there's green has the least amount of draw, I think, and that's saying something. I'm pretty sure red has none. Um, it's rough for this guy. He has potential. I think if something swarmy comes out later where you fill the board, maybe a Pathista with for green or red, maybe I don't know. But right now, he just seems like you have to do the utmost to make him
Yeah,
work.
absolutely.
He's probably I'd probably put him at like a C-, honestly. He's probably not as good as these guys, but he's definitely better than the Crocodile.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah, I'd like. Yeah, it's. I would argue Croc's better just because it plays blue cards. But I wouldn't touch either of these cards.
And he has 5 life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we might have, but I have potential. I have hope that he'll get better in the next set, so I'm going to leave him right there at the back of
Yeah.
C. At the back of C. This king though is one that we like to talk about. Minus, it has to have you have to have 10 Dawn, and if you have 10 Dawn, all your opponent's characters get -1,000 power.
I just don't understand why I have that condition. Zoro doesn't have a condition.
dog water.
It sucks because you have red that benefits so much from that Zoro just indiscriminately giving 1,000, uh, and then to put on the condition that you have to have 10, it just
I think the worst condition is it has to be your turn.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was both turns. If it was both turns, it might be really good. That could
I
be really
agree.
nice. But just your turn, you minus a blocker 1,000. It's just your opponent's characters. Does that affect his leader? No, right?
I don't
No.
think so.
Like, what's the king makes it easier to trade? But I'm looking at the other three purple leaders. They all have great effects. Even the Kaido compared to this king is great. Um,
Makes a bigger impact, which is crazy.
and it's funny because we just talked about the smiley cards. They didn't get a leader to support that, which is super weird.
Not yet.
That could have been a cool card right here. Is insert a smiley. I don't know who it would be, but a smile leader right here instead of king.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this king is easily the worst leader that in this set. I don't see any potential for it to get better unless more ramp comes out, which I'm praying doesn't.
Easily.
Which I'm praying doesn't. It's
If
good.
yeah,
We
the
have
only way
enough ramp.
it's yeah, the only way it's good is if you're hitting it turn 2.
Even if
And
that,
The only way you hit
I'm
that is
trying to give it a benefit of a doubt too. Like I'm really like
and
maybe turn 2.
and all the purple cards say minus a dawn for like activated effects. So you would have to. Yeah, it just seems like
Yeah.
you have to do the most to make this king leader effective and active. And I
Hmm.
don't even know if it's good enough at that point for it to be active.
Hmm.
Like if it was both turns, maybe, but not for one.
Right.
The Oden Leader. It's one of the newer ones we saw. It's trash one mono card in your hand. It's up to 2 Dawns active. Once per turn, activate main. Zach, how do you feel about this Oden?
all right.
We
So
talked
check
about
it
it a
out,
lot.
right? Yeah. So when we first came to it, when you read it upon just reading it, it doesn't seem very strong, and it feels like it needed more. But as you read more of the cards in the set, untapping is always good. I said that in earlier videos,
Yep.
and I'll continue to say that. Anytime you can untap, is very good. And I think this deck in particular is going to be very, very important on what kind of counts. And I think it becomes a combo deck. I think it's a I kill you in one turn kind of thing because there's not a lot of defense in green. Like there is, but there isn't.
There's
And a
counters
lot
but
of
not blockers.
yeah, and a lot of the stuff you're going to be tapping out, to untap and do a bunch of stuff. Like it is a
Mhm.
very combo centric deck, but I think it's very good, and you all have access to arguably the best card in the game. Arguably, there's a couple other cards that are pretty damn good, but the Yamato is just that card is good, bro.
Just
Absolutely.
just for attacking purposes, I don't think there's a better card than Yamato, obviously. And being able to play that card, this is the only deck that can actually play it, right? So right now, it's just Odin on that alone seems A tier to me because of that card. The Scabbards have a ton of nice combos. My worry though is we're probably not. I'm guessing we're not going to see much Wano in the next set, so I don't know how much support this deck gets going forward. But right now, it seems nice. It seems interesting, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I think good pilots are going to take that deck to championships.
There it is.
Combo centric like players that really understand their move set are going to win tournaments with that card.
Storm, baby.
It's a great segue to probably one of the better combo cards I've seen so far from this game.
Yeah.
The Dofi. I'm just gonna read it really quick. Dawn times 2 when attacking, and you have one. And for one, ooh, that was. For one, reveal one card from the top of your deck. If that card is a Warlord, and cost under 4, you can just play it rested.
Right.
So I went through a lot of the cards, I went through a lot of the combos, and I went through a lot of the options this deck has. And even looking forward, we're still going to see a ton of warlords.
Next time
There's a
we'll have
lot of
warlords.
good for less warlords right now. You have my favorite card is still going to be the Mihawk from the starter deck. He's a warlord. You have the Teach, who's a 4 drop, who's a warlord. The Gecko Moria that Zach brought up when we were talking off screen, double attack, warlord. I, and you have a ton of peep. There's
Yeah, I
so
was going
much,
to say setup is key with that.
so much peep. The new Dofi that got revealed, also warlord. He has peep 3. Your Perona 1 drop, peep 5. The Kuma a warlord, peep 3. There
Hmm.
is so much peep. There's so much combo potential, and at 5 life, I think this Dofi leader is going to be very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a good play set. Like you were saying, all of the searching is gonna make this card better because you're gonna set up, you're gonna activate his effect, you're gonna set your card that you're gonna draw next turn as your next draw, and then you're gonna know that next card is good to play his effect again. And then you can peep again, and you can do it again, and it's gonna recycle and always set you up in the best position. The only downside is, I think Zach mentioned, is it comes in rested
Mm-hmm.
as a big like thing that they're going to be vulnerable for that first turn. But if it's like the Mihawk that you want to defend, if it's a card that's on play effect, let it die. It's like setting you up for success. It's a very good leader.
And I think that's the key too, is the on play effects. Both the Dofi and the Kuma are on play effects.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we didn't even get into the fact that like it was we were talking about it off screen. We didn't get into it, but the Akuma that plays pacifistas from your hand is also a warlord,
He is
and he's on
the
KO.
pacifistas aren't warlords. That's the one thing I wish they were warlords.
Right, but they get played from your hand,
They,
right?
they
So
do get.
you play the Kuma. He's a 5K blocker, and then you draw like we said, you got a lot of peep. You end up drawing your pacifista, and then you block with the 5K on the following turn. Play the pacifista. You got another blocker. Plus, you're still playing cards. Like it's ever recurring.
Right.
I think combos are just going to be relentless from this deck, and
Mhm.
I haven't even built a complete deck. It's all in my head, but I have no doubt that this leader is probably going to be a top 3 leader going forward. I think it's S tier. Where do you
Yep.
go?
I agree. I think it's going to be counts and a lot of testing, a lot of wiggle room because there's a lot of blue cards that
Yeah, you're
are
gonna want to play everything.
There's so
yeah,
many good
and
cards.
sometimes you just can't. So
Hmm.
it's going to be hard to figure it out. But once it's figured out, the deck's really scary.
And I like that we didn't say it, but I'm realizing right now that we were favoring the 5 life decks. I think we've played against enough red to realize that extra life is going to be so key going on, and that's
At
just
least
another,
for now.
at least for now, and that's a huge favor for Dopey and his combo centric. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of more warlords. We didn't get any decent buggies with effects. We might get a buggy later. Um, there's just so many opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, but for the first set, I think this is a good,
tier
clear
list.
tier list. Yeah, with Luffy standing out in the middle as a true B and everyone better or worse than him. Absolutely clear. Clear for us at least. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Did we completely miss something?
Tell us where we went wrong.
Yeah, tell us why you think the King Leader's the best leader.
Tell us.
Uh,
I need to know because I want
Don't
to
tell
make
me
him
that.
good.
Don't tell me
yeah.
that because I won't. No, don't tell me that.
I'm gonna play the king leader.
Please troll Zach in the comments down below.
I troll back.
um, but I think that's all. I think that's it. We set out to make a tier list. We did that. Uh, any final comments, guys?
Yeah, I'm excited to start deck making. Deck videos coming soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. I'm pretty excited to get to some deck profiles and into the
Yeah,
thought process.
absolutely.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Give us a like, subscribe if you really liked it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.